Hi, everyone. Hi there. Welcome to Unleasher, my podcast. In case you haven't tuned in here before, I'm Roberta, and I'm so glad that you're here. And today I want to have a heart to heart conversation with you about what it means to find the joy of living. You know, there were moments in my life that shook me. They make us question everything and everything about ourselves and things that are happening to us and around us. And for me, that moment came the day that I received a call that changed my life forever. And in 2018, my daughter was in a very bad accident. And even talking about it still is very emotional. And it's been what, 7 years? But that day, my world stopped and my world changed. And everything that I thought was important, those to-do lists, the busyness and the perfection, and none of that mattered anymore. And in that moment, all I wanted was for her to be okay. I wanted our lives to go on like they had been before. And I realized that, I hadn't really been living my life. I had been living a life of fear and anxiety. And so I was on the go. I was taking care of everyone and I was striving to do the right thing. And I was smiling, but inside I was empty. I was disconnected. And I was lost in the roles and responsibilities that didn't reflect who I really was. That experience, it cracked me open. And, as painful as it was, it became like the doorway to my awakening. And it made me question things and ask, really, who am I? And what do I want? And what is my purpose here on earth? That sounds very deep, but I think that there comes to a time in our lives that we have those questions. And for me, I had just become an empty nester and I was ready to move on with my life. But, now that I look back, I know that every single thing happens for a reason. And luckily, I learned from those lessons. And this is where my journey of healing from the inside out began. See, I started studying everything I could about the mind, about energy, and about the power of our own thoughts. I learned how our subconscious beliefs create our reality, how gratitude literally reprograms your brain, and how the stories that we tell ourselves, they either limit us or they set us free. And I began journaling every day and meditating and going in and doing the inner work and peeling away the layers of fear and of guilt and of not enoughness. When I did that, something beautiful happened. I began to feel again. I laughed more. I noticed that the beauty in the simple things, in nature, in the sunrise, the way that people smiled at each other, and, the sound of music. And that's when I realized that the joy of living doesn't come from outside of you, that it's something that you awaken within yourself. And that realization was the foundation of my work. And it's the reason that I created Unleashed. Find the joy of living. See, this program, it's not about fixing yourself. It's about remembering who you are beneath the fear, beneath the masks and the expectations. And it's about coming home to your truth, to your power, and to your purpose and your light. And that is going into your imagination and remembering, who was that you wanted to be when you were little? What were your dreams? You're still that same person. Allow yourself to dream. Every week I guide women just like you through lessons of self awareness, energy alignment, and emotional healing. We talk about universal laws, the reticular activation system, your RAS, that filter your brain, that literally shows you more of what to focus on, and how to use that knowledge to consciously create a life that feels good from the inside out. We talk about gratitude and how it's not just a cute idea, but that it has frequency that magnetizes joy and abundance and beauty into your life. We explore authenticity, how living in alignment with your true self transforms your energy, your relationships, and even your physical appearance. Because when your energy shifts, you begin to look and feel younger. Not because of a cream or not because of a supplement, but because your soul begins to shine through once you begin to heal. See, I've watched women step into this work and transform themselves right before my eyes. They rediscover their spark. They find courage to let go of old stories, and they begin to radiate confidence, peace, and purpose from the inside out. That's what I call quantum beauty. It's the beauty that comes when your energy is aligned with love, gratitude, and truth. And I want you to know that all of this is possible for you too. No matter where you are right now, no matter what circumstances you are holding on to, that you are dealing with, you can begin again. I didn't begin until my 50s. I feel like that's when I really woke up. And I started with awareness. And you'll start with that. You'll start to notice your thoughts, and you'll notice what drains your energy and what lights you up. And you'll ask yourself, am I reacting or am I responding to situations? You'll get to know yourself better. And you'll understand is if you're living in integrity with who you really are. Because you see, awareness is the first step in transformation. When you become aware, you reclaim your power. And if you've been feeling that inner nudge, that quiet whisper that says that there's more for me than this, I want you to trust it. You were never meant to just survive. You were meant to live, to feel vibrant, connected, and to feel free. To look in the mirror and to see a woman who is glowing. Not because life is perfect, but because you are at peace with yourself. That's the essence of Unleashed. That's the joy of living. So my invitation for you today, it's very simple. I want you to take one small step toward yourself. Do something today that brings you joy. Like journal, take a walk in nature, read a book, dance, breathe deeply, and say thank you. And remember that joy isn't something that you find someday, it's something that you choose today. You are powerful beyond measure. You're radiant. And it's time to unleash that woman that you were always meant to be. Thank you for spending time with me today. And if this message spoke to your heart, I want you to share it with a friend who needs a reminder of her power. And stay tuned because this is just the beginning of our beautiful journey together. And until next time, I want you to remember that you don't have to chase the joy of living. It's something that you embody. It's something that you become. And it takes practice and it takes time. And to find a mentor or a coach, if you resonate with me, I would love to work with you and I would love to help you in your journey. If it's not me, then there's somebody else out there. Find someone that's doing the thing that you want to do and go follow them. Ask them questions. Be in their energy. That's the joy of living. I love you all and I want the best for you. So take care and we'll see you all soon.